Hey cool fan, it's me, Mike again, and the next modular building from the LEGO Modular Collection is the Natural History Museum. And mind you, this one does come out on December 1st, 2023, not your typical January 1st, so that's like a push, I guess, for the last quarter sales from LEGO, which is, the first time they did it in years actually. It's gonna go for $300 for 4,014 pieces, making this the biggest modular building to date, and also the same footprint as the 10th anniversary of Modular's Assembly Square. If you didn't know, LEGO has this kind of cool website about the history of Modulars, and if we consider the December date of launch, this is only the second time in history that this set is coming out in the same year as the previous Modular. So 2023 we have two Modulars at this point, the Jazz Club and the Natural History Museum, and only other time this happened was the beginning, the 2007 Cafe Corner and Market Street. I gotta tell you, the Assembly Square was possibly for me the biggest wow factor when it was released. It was just such a great looking building from the get-go. It just stole everybody's heart. The colorfulness, the little alleyway in the middle, all the kinds of shops, all the kinds of facades, the amount of minifigures, the first ever Lego baby. There was a lot to really like about this set, and it really paid homage to the 10th anniversary of Modulars. It didn't really strike me with the wow factor. It is a good set, but fully personal opinion, it doesn't live up to what Assembly Square offered. But still, it has a lot of greatness going on. There is a brachiosaurus skeleton right there. I really hope they would use the actual brachiosaurus mold from the Jurassic World line. That was like one of a kind. This set was just so good to be there. But this, of course, is a fossil museum, it's a natural history museum, so we don't have like an actual brachiosaurus. Nevertheless, this thing takes at least 2 stories. The building is 2 stories tall. It has 7 minifigures, olive green facade with some nougat to spice it up a little bit. It's a very mellow facade, if you ask me. Like, it doesn't really strike as colorful as the Assembly Square was. The tree in the front does break a little bit that kind of, boring, colorless design, in my opinion, but it does with the pink, and also the banners with the go back in time and explore the future, which are a really cool addition to the building, do add up a lot actually. Without those, it would look very, very bland. The front is good. I do like that grandeur entrance with the columns. You can see how the columns split in half, of course, to allow for the addition of the second floor, so it's fully modular design as it's supposed to be. I do like this little fenced off area with the flower bed, and we have the comeback of the fern pieces. Those will be a lot in LEGO sets because it's such a good designed piece, such a well designed piece coming from Rivendell and being shown up in multiple sets throughout since then. But you can also count kind of on top of the 7 minifigures including the set, you can count the 2 extra ones posing as the statues. I wonder if that's Galileo, we're just getting the Galileo tribute set about right now, so when this is coming out as well, so there might be Galileo on the left, not sure who's on the right here, but that's a lady statue right there. Simple design for the sidewalk. Of course, there is like a little post box, there is a little bench, few pigeons, I like that, or doves if you will, with just a cookie there, so nice little addition, and some petals that fell off, or flowers that fell off the pink tree. I wonder what that tree is. Do you think it's like a blossoming apple tree or cherry tree? Something along those lines probably. But I like that there is just a little bit more than just the sidewalk to the front of the building, and adds to the grandness of it. On the LEGO website there are none really detailed interior shots, which is kind of a bummer considering it's a large building and has a lot of rooms. You can only scout the interior elements from the either back of the box or just looking at those isometric shots of the floors. So there is like an observatory or the custodian's office. At the very top you can see there's I think there's a better shot of this later on. He has a little telescope on there too. There are some displays like the solar system, for example. Of course, the centerpiece is the brachiosaurus skeleton, which you can take out and display on its own. That's pretty cool. There is some fossil display as well. There's a shot on the box, of course, how this looks like next to the latest Modulars. I still think that from the latest line, after the Assembly Square, there's time before and after the Assembly Square, in my opinion, in Modulars, one of the best ones after the Assembly Square is the Boutique Hotel, for sure, with the fantastic color scheme, great facade build, just corner design, through the roof, and a fantastic little gallery and cafe. Just looks so good to anything you put next to it. So the museum is, just look at the jazz club colorfulness. The jazz club was very colorful with the blue and dark red, and the pizzeria in yellow tones. So that the olive green breaks a little bit. It really tells this is a more of a grandpa building, more like a toned down design, if you will, an older building, maybe an older part of the city. Maybe a little bit of a homage to the first modulars that Lego made. The classic fire station comes to mind, and maybe the town hall as well. So not as screaming as the jazz club, not as fancy as the boutique hotel. Bottom floor, a little bit of a closer look. That's the only angle we have pretty much. So some sort of an art display in the lobby. We don't see much of the lobby because it's being covered by this part here. But there's a magnifying glass. There's a toilet in the back, I believe, a 4-stud wide. Not much here. There's a room here too. Not sure what that's gonna be. Again, the box doesn't really show much. On the left, there's also a piece of art. Some sort of a display here. There's a staircase entrance. And on the right, you have the fossil room, which houses the dinosaur. And of course, you can see those fossils on the wall that you are mostly accessible when you remove the dinosaur, and you can actually have minifigures next to them. Here things get a little bit more interesting. Closer look at those banners. Go back in time on the right side when the dino is being housed, and explore the future. So there is some, future exploration stuff in there. On the right room, a little bit of a history lesson, I believe, maybe a conquest room of sorts. There's a pirate hat, there's a forestman hat, and some knight's hat. There's some maybe notes to the castle. There's a ship model, there's an anchor. Probably there's gonna be a few Easter eggs to spot there for all us Lego fans. About things from the past. The middle room is the future exploration, more likely. I'm not sure what that logo represents. It's a kind of a classic space arc, but it has an Earth behind it, a green logo, Earth, I don't know, clean Earth, clean planet. Let me know in the comment section. I'm not sure what that really represents, actually. There's a rocket there with a launch tower. Maybe a nod of something we're gonna be getting soon from Lego, or just a random rocket in the future exploration room. Couldn't really tell from that. On the left, there is there's a telescope on the wall. I wonder, no, that's not the same that's being used on the roof, right? And there's something here too. Again, I don't know what it is. That angle doesn't tell much. And you can access the the roof actually from here and go to the custodian's office. I think that's the kind of a mini last floor, if you will, on the very rooftop. A bit of a better look of that perspective render. It's a render, unfortunately, not a picture for sure, of the fossil room. So the dinosaur is gonna be pretty towering. I like the design of it. It's quite simple. It has some just simple arm connections here. Bananas in white for the rib cage. That's interesting. So it looks like it's gonna be a little bit finicky, all these connections. It does have a pole stand, so it stays in place, but probably when you handle it, you're gonna have to be very careful not to break off all these Technic arms. They don't have a lot of clutch power, that's for sure. So this thing even needs a neck holder to keep the neck in place. There's a droid arm holding it. So I'm pretty sure it's just Lego knows it's a finicky model. It needs a rigging structure to keep it in shape. And I believe that whip on the right, it might be, Johnny Thunder or, Indiana Jones homage. Something's going on here for sure. And you realize that a little more when you look at the minifigs, or the characters included. So we got Frenchie, that's a nice addition of the little doggy. There's a kid with the mom taking pictures. Mom has a prosthetic leg, interestingly enough, so that's an interesting minifigure. I believe those are museum workers, so the custodian or the manager of the museum. That's his office at the very attic or the rooftop. That's a lady working the museum, I believe. Again, a quick look at the dinosaur. There is this kind of shady looking guy on the right. He's the window cleaner, works outside the building on a window cleaning assembly. That's a lady, maybe runs the reception of the museum, or she feeds the cookies to the doves outside the museum. And if you go to the right, enhance computer. Yeah, this guy looks familiar. Johnny Thunder, anyone? Looking for something? I don't know. It's a funny Easter egg. That's the exact face of the Johnny Thunder. Interestingly enough. And there's his whip in the museum too, or in this, whoever is the biggest adventure explorer in Lego, right? All in all, I'm not as in awe or as impressed by this set as I was when the modular assembly square was first shown to the world. It was just, the hype was in the air, you could feel it. In this case, this set was kind of teased a little bit, maybe a little rumored for a while, so it does, you know, it does meet expectations. Like I wasn't expecting a natural history museum to be like super flashy or anything like it. So it delivers in that case, and it takes the cake as the biggest modular to date, with the piece count and maintaining the footprint of the assembly square with the 32 plus 16 base plate size, right? Oh, by the way, that office of the custodian is at the very top. There's like a little bit of probably a bunch of Easter eggs in there and a typewriter and a little bit of a map. So maybe that's also a Johnny Thunder homage, if you will. There's a lot going on here. So yeah, look at this guy, just like standing there like, haha, no sinister things at all. Like he was a good guy, right? There is nothing sinister about him. So it's just like he's in disguise a little bit, or maybe like a ancestor of some or something. Anyway, what do you guys think? Is it like a day one purchase for you? For most modular people, collectors, I guess it's gonna be like a must-have. There is no way you can skip it. For me, I would love to have it in my collection. However, like the size is a problem, because even I barely found place for the assembly square in my display space. This is gonna have to be another exact same space to be found. So that's a problem. But the price is good, you know, at $300 for 4,000 pieces in today's day and age. That's still pretty good. And modulars were always kind of like a good value sets in general. They do have like a decent price to piece ratio. This one has decent minifigures, some good things going on. I'm not the biggest fan of the more toned down color scheme, but again, it's an older building, it's an older part of the town, so you can kind of get it that it's not as flashy as the other ones that try to be flashy. Like the flashiest of them all, I think, was the diner. That thing was very cool, and then the jazz club and the boutique hotel, they were very like colorful from the get-go. This one is not just as much, and it serves its purpose well as a museum with a pretty classic design. Hope you guys enjoyed this rant or deep dive into the Natural History Museum. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching the Cool Factory. I appreciate you all. That makes my day if you click the like and subscribe and all that. If you support my content, I appreciate you all. Thank you very much for watching. It was Mike, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon. Goodbye.